So the final one we have here in the lab is called gyro gear loose, and that is because it is the wildest printer that we have. It can actually do 180 millimeters per second. And the reason it is so much faster than the others is that the print head, which is right here, let's see if we can see it. The print head, which is right here, does not have any motors to it. Even the feeder motor, which is usually inside the hot end, in this machine is placed on the side. This one here is the feeder motor, and these are the feeder gears. And that means that when you are using this machine, which makes a weird noise for some reason, I never found out why. If you want to change the wire, the filament, it means that you have to retract the filament for about 60 centimeters. And it's going to take quite some time. Luckily, there is a lever here. When you press this lever, it will actually release the gears from the wire. So to change the wire, you can use the user interface, which is probably going to be hard to make you see. No, it works. Okay. So here's what you do. You hit on temperature, you hit on manual, you set the nozzle preheat at 205. Okay. And as you can see here, the nozzle temperature will start to go up. And when it hits the 205, that's when you can actually take out the wire and insert another wire. Since the gears with which you feed the wire are right here, it will take quite some time to feed the wire with just the gear. That's why I'll show you a quicker way of doing that as soon as we have the proper heat on the nozzle. So now we have the 205 in the hot end. We can go back, and then in the settings we can say refuel, and then we could put in like 600 millimeters and OK, and then say retreat, but that would take a lot of time. So instead I will say 10 millimeters. OK, and retreat. This will remove the wire from the hot end, but it will not remove it from the tube in here. So instead of doing that, I will depress the lever and pull down on this wire. I will have to do it again until it's off the hot end, maybe once more, until I can pull it from here. And then I would just get it off this this box in here. This is the filament sensor, and then if I was to refuel this, I would insert the wire back in here, depress this lever, and then push it in until it goes all the way through to the hot end. And in the hot end, I would then say feed instead of that, and feed like 30 millimeters. And what will happen now is that you will see how the hot end is extruding wire here. Okay. To calibrate this machine, there is a tool here called leveling. When you click on that and you hit on auto leveling, you will be able to get it leveled. And the other way to do this is to go into the move area and say hit the all the home buttons. So currently we are seeing how the print head moves into the center and the print table comes up to meet the print head. Like so. And then we have the proper calibration. Again, the tool of choice is an A4 paper, which will give you enough of clearance between the hot end and the table. And if you need to get the table down or up, there are 4 screws in each of the corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. And to get the table to go up, you tighten the screw, you loosen the screw, and then to get it to go down, you tighten it. And that way you will have access to all of the 4 corners of the print table. And when you watch your print, and even if it's printing and you see that you are too high or too low, then you can turn these 4 screws as necessary, maybe using a half turn as the unit. The way the print job is managed here in this software is called Creality Slicer 4.8. There is a path from the file to the final print. You start from here, you click open, and then you place your object. I have already placed it in here. If you want to scale them, you have the same options in the left hand corner as you would have in the other slicers as well. Just like in Repetier Host, you can move, you can slice, you can move, you can size, you can rotate, you can make a copy as you like. And also when you right click on the object, you have some settings that you can affect, like center model, delete model, multiply selected model, select all models. They are all here in the right mouse button. Then you go in here and you pick your material, which is currently PLA, as you can see here. There's a lot of different areas here, but you just like the generic PLA is what we use. And then the nozzle size is always 0.4 millimeters. Then you go here and you click open this list, and you have access to all the same settings as you have in the other ones. Your shell thickness, where you have your bottom and top layers, 4 layers and bottom and top, 4 layers on the wall line count. This is called perimeter on the other slicers, but in here it's called wall line count, so you can set that to 4 if you like. Then you select your infill, currently 20%, and you can pick your lines here. Material is set at 220. 220 seems to be a nice temperature for this printer. And the build plate temperature is 65, but this can be 40 because this sticks very nicely to the table. And then when you come to the speed area, as you can see here, maximum speed is 180 millimeters per second, and even safer is 150. So you can set 150 in all of these areas here, including travel. And then this area is done. For travel, you need to retract, but not maybe that much. Maybe 2 millimeters would be a good retraction. Enable print cooling, and if you click on generate support, then of course you have to pick where you want your supports, how do you want to make them, but if you don't need any supports, turn it off. In the build plate adhesion, you usually don't need anything. You can set it to none, but if you need, use a brim for maybe 5 millimeters or so. Mesh fixes, well, you can ask the slicer to fix your mesh if it's not usable, but if it's fine, then you won't need to do that either. And when you're done with this, all that remains to be done is to go to the lower right hand corner where you have the slice button. And when you slice the file, it will tell you what's going to happen. 2 hours and 47 minutes, currently 68 grams of filament, 20 meters. And you can preview your file if you want to. You can see how the print is going to be done. Or you can click print via USB, because this one has a USB wire right here. And when you say click and print, it will start to print. You will see over here what your temperatures are. You can see your print area information in here, and the percentage is going to run down in here. And the same information is largely available in here, where you can see the nozzle temperature and the bed temperature. So as soon as this one hits 40 degrees, then we are going to start to extrude. Now move the print, this one up so you can see what's going to happen in here. Okay, let's leave it up there and see when it starts to move. So we're still heating the wire to go to 220. Now they are both at the right temperatures. And it will soon start to print. Go to X home and Y home. Z home is already done in principle, but it will do that as well, just to start at the right altitude, like so. And this machine always makes a white line on the left hand side of the print area, just to make sure that you have a nice extrusion. Then it will go and start to do the actual print right there, just like the other printers do. This is no different from the others. And of course this is going to take quite a while, so I won't be showing you how it's going to go. But if you need to abort the print, the abort print button is right here on the lower right hand corner of the screen. So click in here and say yes, and the printer will stop whatever it was doing. So this is how you run gyro gear loose.